The first things to do when attempting to be a better LGBTQ+ ally or working toward creating a more inviting and inclusive space is to educate oneself. It can be daunting to know how to do or how to behave when there's so much we don't know about a community. Thankfully, the internet has a plethora of information to help get you started. One of the best places to start when first learning about the LGBTQ+ community is to start with basic terminology. Note that definitions are always growing and changing with the community as cultural norms change. Also, not every member of the LGBTQ+ community personally identifies with the terms, so always trust the person you are interacting with to self-identify and go with the definition they are comfortable with if they choose to explain or describe their identity to you. Lesbian. Women who are primarily attracted romantically, erotically, and/or emotionally to other women. Gay. Experiencing attraction solely or primarily to some members of the same gender. It can be used to refer to men who are attracted to other men and women who are attracted to women. An umbrella term used to refer to the queer community as a whole or as an individual identity label for anyone who is not straight. Bisexual. A person who experiences attraction to some men and women. A person who experiences attraction to some people of their gender and another gender. Bisexual attraction does not have to be equally split or indicate a level of interest that is the same across the genders an individual may be attracted to. It can be shortened to bi and is often used interchangeably with pansexual. Asexual. Experiencing little or no sexual attraction to others and/or a lack of interest in sexual relationships or behavior. Asexuality exists on a continuum, from people who experience no sexual attraction or have any desire for sex, to those who experience low levels or sexual attraction only under specific conditions. Many of these different places on the continuum have their own identity labels, such as demisexual, sometimes abbreviated to ACE. Transgender. A gender description for someone who is transitioned or is transitioning from living as one gender to another. An umbrella term for anyone whose sex assigned at birth and gender identity does not correspond in the expected way. For example, someone who was assigned male at birth but does not identify as a man. When it comes to gender, there are a few more definitions that might be helpful. Cisgender. A gender description for when someone's sex assigned at birth and gender identity correspond in the expected way. For example, someone who was assigned male at birth and identifies as a man. A simple way to think about it is if a person is not transgender, they are cisgender. The word cisgender can also be shortened to cis. Agender. A person with no or very little connection to the traditional system of gender. No personal alignment with the concepts of either man or woman, and/or someone who sees themselves as existing without gender. Sometimes called gender neutral, or genderless. Gender fluid. A gender identity best described as a dynamic mix of boy and girl. A person who is gender fluid may always feel like a mix of the two traditional genders, but may feel more man some days and more woman other days. And gender identity. The internal perception of one's gender and how they label themselves, based on how much they align or don't align with what they understand their options for gender to be. Often conflated or confused with biological sex or sex assigned at birth.